What is up, guys? We are over on World Flipper today to just have some fun, take a look at the new unit Prika. Built a team of just multi-ball fever skill damage madness with her on it. She is the lead for the purpose of this video, doing a little showcase for her herself. It is kind of fun seeing a team function like this. If you haven't seen a team do this kind of mechanic that's spawning a lot of multi-balls doing fever, recycling their skills, it gets a little crazy on the screen, but that's what kind of makes these teams a lot of fun. What Prika does, which is what made me want to try this out, is Prika is getting 50% to Powerflip damage, just for everybody. Then every 3 times a unit Powerflips, 10% to skill damage, 4 Thunder units to a maximum of 80%. And I thought to myself, well, Metis likes to do Thunder Fever and Thunder Skill damage, so I thought she gets bonuses when she's in Fever. I can use the Illuminate of Multi-Balls to pump up the Fever and then get these skills just cycling. We are filling up here with this Ancestral Staff. We have the Marina. The first time I finally get to use Marina on a team that I wanted to just have some fun with her. Turned out exactly kind of how I wanted it to. She's giving 30% attack to Prika. Every 20 time a ball launches off the flippers, you're going to get 12% attack to this unit to a maximum of 60, and then 6% to a maximum of 30 attack for multi-balls. So she is spawning multi-balls. You have Illuminate, who is going to be filling the fever gauge when multi-balls appear. That is a key piece to this. You have Metis, who is going to trigger fever faster. The first time she fills it up, gives it that plus 500 to the fever gauge. Then you have Rudy, who replenishes the skill gauge, and you have the Ancestral Staffs replenishing the skill gauge. You don't need the Gacha book on the Metis. That just gets it going a little faster. It's not really that relevant. And then if we take a look, we have the Prometheus Blade, which is, we don't really care about the fire effect because it's not going to trigger here. We just want the 10% to skill gauge so we can keep spawning the multi-balls, keep the gauges going, keep the fever gauge filling up with Illuminate here to then replenish with Rudy and the staffs, so then we can have Metis crack down more. And we have Prika stacking skill damage as well, and it's chaos in this solo run, but it looks so cool when it's all going. There's just so much happening on the screen, and I really like how this team functions. You're also going to be getting skill damage increase every time a unit power flips, so it's just this unit. This is a free-to-play unit. You can get it from the box C of the current Puppet Princess event going on. She's free-to-play, free unit. I do highly recommend grabbing her. She has some pretty unique skills and some serious power flip damage modifiers. She's giving 100% when she's a main unit. She is gaining a bonus of skill damage and power flip. This is similar to how, remember Baton in my last video, power flip and skill damage. So I do want to mess around with those 2 units together, but I wanted to do this craziness of multi-ball power flip skill damage. You could use the Metis, you could flip the columns to have something like this. It doesn't need to be Prika in the front. It still works just fine this way. But since it's a Prika video, I wanted to have Prika in the front line just to show that it still works this way in these godly solo bosses. And what makes this just so hilarious is that there's just so many multi-balls on the screen, and it's just 2 units doing this. It's just the Illuminate, it's just the Marina, but since you have the skill gauge cycling up with the Prometheus Blade of the Prika column, you have the Thunder skill activating, you have the Metis gaining the skill damage buff here from the Prika ability, and then you have the weapon on the Metis stacking herself. It is just like this nice synergistic solo team. It is highly recommended to just keep teams like this in solo for how Fever works. If you take them into co-op, it just kind of turns into a disaster because you can't really gauge the skills because it takes longer to fill up the fever gauge, and it just kind of starts to get out of sync. And it's, unless you have 3 people doing the same thing, then it's kind of fun. But just using Fever in solo, it's a lot nicer, except for some teams with the half anniversary Neftum do work in co-op Fever. She's the exception. She can just really accelerate into Fever quickly, even in co-op. I've done it right away. I've taken it into co-op even when I thought I shouldn't, and it's still just immediately just popped into Fever with the 3 players. So you are going to receive negative effects because they're going to be in Fever less time than you are and all that stuff. So if you guys have not farmed out this unit, it's very easy to grab 1 copy of her. This is going to lead to a very interesting team composition. I want to do power flip with her too. Do a power flip skill damage comp with her and Botan. That is something that I want to take a look at later this week as well. I want to cover all the limited units coming up. I want to do a Luna team next. Should have a Luna video up tomorrow. or the next day. And then I do want to do a fire team featuring Hayes and then have Marita with that team. And so many videos I want to do. It's bananas right now. World Flipper has too many things that I want to cover in such a short period of time. And by the time I get to all the videos, we got new banners coming. It's crazy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here, supporting the channel content. This is been a crazy time for World Flipper. My viewership has like tripled over the last few weeks. It's pretty crazy to see that. I appreciate all you guys being here. Once again, free unit. This team is just for fun. I'm not saying this is like a super hyper meta hype team. This is just a fun little Prika showcase. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.